Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shaping the Future. I'm Dr. Jeff Gold, and I have the honor, of course, of serving as the president here at the University of Nebraska. This series we call Shaping the Future highlights remarkable individuals whose leadership and vision are shaping lives and shaping communities across our state. And today's just another example of that. I'm honored to be joined by Dr. John Skretta. Dr. Skretta is the superintendent of Lincoln Public Schools. A three-time graduate of the University of Nebraska Lincoln campus, Dr. Skretta spent his career advancing educational excellence, equity, and opportunity for Nebraska students. Before joining the Lincoln Public Schools, he served as the superintendent of Norris School District, as administrator in Lincoln Public Schools, and as a statewide leader in educational policy and in wellness. Under his leadership, LPS continues to grow as one of the best urban public school systems in the nation. It's a public school system focused on student success, innovation, and focused on partnerships that strengthen our entire community. Dr. Skretta, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a great pleasure to have you here on Shaping the Future, and I hope this is just one of many times we'll have an opportunity to chat. But before we start talking about LPS and so many other opportunities that are ongoing, our audience is always interested in your background. You know, did you wake up one day and say, I want to be a school superintendent, or probably not, right? I mean,
not exactly. Wasn't quite that linear.
Most middle school and high school students don't have that revelation.
No. So first off, President Gold, before I answer that question about background, I would just share back with you that it's an extreme privilege to have the opportunity to engage this conversation with you. And I am deeply appreciative, as you noted, a multi-time UNL graduate, of your visionary leadership and GBR in all things. So
GBR in all things.
Great to be with you this afternoon. So to be perfectly candid, I knew by the time I was a junior in high school that I wanted to have the opportunity to do a couple things as an adult. One of those was to teach, because I had been inspired by that point by a number of phenomenal public school teachers, in particular in the realm of English language arts, and people like Mr. Meyer, my 7th grade English teacher, who inspired our creative impulses and encouraged us on. Ruth Michaud and Maggie Ellison were two of my high school teachers, and as I benefited from their tremendously supportive, compassionate instruction combined with a rigorous academic experience, I knew, hey, if I could recreate that sort of classroom environment for young people, I would be having an expansive impact as an educator. And so, no, I did not foresee that I would subsequently end up in educational leadership initially. I was just drawn to the classroom. However, I think I began to think more about systems and systems supports and the role that educational leaders have in positively shaping education at every level when I was an undergraduate at UNL. And as an undergraduate, having had the opportunity to learn from the likes of Professor Larry Andrews and Professor Dave Wilson. Those were two within the, at the time, I'm dating myself a bit here, but Teachers College, before it was rebranded as the College of Education and Human Sciences. And Professor Andrews in particular inspired in me an understanding of the importance of YA, or young adult literature, and how ensuring that students had the opportunity to really be inspired by stories of young people conquering and overcoming adversity. And Larry was and brought forth a big understanding of the importance of literacy in language acquisition and the profound empowering nature of literacy itself. And so that was a key takeaway from Larry. And Dave Wilson just really helped us all think and he worked with many cohorts of pre-service educators over many years, think about the importance of pairing thoughtful methodology and intentional lesson design with creating a compassionate and welcoming classroom environment for students, and that if you did both of those things within any classroom, you probably stood a pretty good shot of getting great student outcomes.
Well, it's inspiring, and one of the themes that you just brought forward, and that almost every single individual who sits in this chair that I've interviewed for many years says, is that there were individuals that stood out in their career, either faculty or colleagues or, of course, parents as well, who just are role models who inspire us to do so many things. I actually think back to my ninth grade English teacher named Walter Mitty. I can remember it like it was yesterday, where there was a very rigorous demand to learn how to express oneself in writing. And growing up in the inner city of New York, let's say, that was not always highly focused on, but it really changed my thinking about literacy as well. So let's talk about LPS, of course. So, all of our school systems across the country, all of higher education, has both challenges, opportunities ahead. When we think about the opportunities for LPS, what are you focused on these days?
Appreciate the question. Lincoln Public Schools, we're focused on mission, and our mission is to ensure that every single student is prepared for success in careers, lifelong learning, and civic engagement. And I think there's an interdependency of those three key pillars that is really exciting to contemplate. We, I think, are doing a tremendous job, and yet there's always more work to be done. So until every single one of our 42,000 plus students is attaining that level of success in preparedness for careers and lifelong learning, excited about lifelong learning, I love that notion as understanding that your K-12 education is not a complete, it's not a bookend on your education. Instead, it should empower young people to understand that knowledge has a shelf life. So we've all always got to keep learning and have a learning and growth-oriented mindset, and love having the opportunity to, it's just a privilege to have the opportunity every day to invest in mission-centered work. And to expound upon that a little bit further, as superintendent, I get to work directly with and in the support of our 7-member Board of Education. And those folks are relentlessly and rigorously committed to ensuring attainment of our strategic plan goals. And we have a strategic plan that is a 5-year plan, 2024 through 2029. So we're well into implementation phase on that. And there are 4 key areas, or 4 foundational sectors within that strategic plan. And they consist of student well-being and outcomes, staff well-being and outcomes, district systems and operations, so really kind of the infrastructure components, and then family and community engagement. And very much believe that each one of those is integral and instrumental to our success as a school system. So we've identified some measurable outcomes, and each year our board identifies and highlights some of the very specific measurables in those areas that we choose to highlight and bring a heightened degree of visibility about to our public, to share what we're doing in support of attainment of that mission and attaining the goals of the strategic plan.
So we too here in the university focus on the pillars, strategies, the initiatives, and the metrics of our strategic planning. So what would be a couple of examples of some of the things that you choose to highlight recently?
I am very excited to note that in the family and community engagement area, one of the things that we're really focused on this year is ensuring that we strengthen communication and partnerships within and across the early childhood and child care provider realm, because we know that the more that we can do in the arena of birth to 5, the better the outcomes will be going forward. And so that's one area. Another area that we're focused on.
It's also probably very important for your workforce, as it is for our workforce, to be sure that there's a very solid, reliable, financially sustainable early childhood model.
Absolutely. And so the 2020 bond issue that the Lincoln Public Schools passed included some infrastructure commitments to a build out that allows us to support and deliver more early childhood education through preschool and preschool services. We currently serve over 2,100 students annually in preschool in the
large.
Lincoln Public Schools, and have a significant investment in that, and opened a couple new preschool classrooms just this year, and hope to continue to make progress on that on a perennial basis over time, so that we can reduce our preschool waiting list and ensure that students who qualify for preschool are able to access that programming.
Very, very important. Well, we could talk forever, but I just want to thank you for all that you're doing, not just for the Lincoln Public Schools, but for our community, for being our guest today, and tell you how much I look forward to reconnecting in a year or so and seeing what's new and comparing notes.
Thank you, President Gold. One of the things that I would be remiss if I did not express my direct gratitude to you for, and for partners at the University of Nebraska Lincoln, is that workforce development piece in education that you mentioned.
Yes.
In closing, I just wanted to celebrate and elevate the fact that every year we in the Lincoln Public Schools have the privilege and the honor of supporting pre-service educators through their student teaching experience to the tune of about 150 student teachers annually from UNL's College of Education. And it's an incredible opportunity for us, and a great pipeline for young people and non-traditional students who subsequently become master teachers in the classroom environment. And additionally, innovations like the para pathway and partnership through UNL to take our dedicated classified staff members serving as paraprofessionals and get them on an accelerated, immersive learning pathway to be credentialed as special education teachers is a really phenomenal effort. Would not occur without the leadership of people on your team like Sue Kemp in the Department of Special Education and College of Education. So
well,
thank you.
The college is amazing. The faculty is absolutely amazing. You know, we have colleges of education, plus and minus human sciences, on all three of our undergraduate campuses. The workforce demands across the state are absolutely unending, and we are the major producer of classroom educational talent, and so that partnership is critically important.
It's part of what's demonstrative of the fact that for every dollar invested in the University of Nebraska system, we in the state of Nebraska are getting a $10 return on that. Appreciate your leadership.
Well, without a doubt, and I bet you next time we measure it'll be even higher. Thanks for being with us today. And to you folks in the audience today, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Shaping the Future. And until next time, I'm Jeff Gold.